the scoring form itself. And so if you're a voting member and you're attending virtually, we did not create any digital evaluation sheets. So all the evaluation forms are for in-person voting and scoring, and they're here in person. So I know I saw an email that maybe somebody couldn't attend last minute, something came up. We'll try to work with you and see what we can do. I know, exceptions do happen, but for the most part, we're hoping we receive all of the scoring forms today. And what else can I say? If you have any questions, I mean, again, we want you to fill out your organization, fill out the names of whoever's submitting, and if there's two of you together, that's fine. Just let us know, and we have the date there. Please make sure after you score and put in your total points that you initial. That's how we kind of validate, verify that it was formally submitted. Well, we have our MPO staff available, so Clarissa, Shayna, and Hoge are going to be helping us collect these so that we can be putting them in as we go. If once you're ready, kind of raise your, I don't know if you prefer to raise your paper so we can come pick them up, or if you want to pass them down. Is it just easier to pick them up? Okay. Hopefully it doesn't create a disturbance either way. I know either way we kind of have to get up and move around and go kind of bug you, but we want the flow to keep happening. So just feel free. If you want to wait till the very end, that's fine. But again, if you're ready for your paper to be collected, you've initialed it, you've put in your points, then go ahead and raise your hand or raise your paper and somebody will come pick that up from you. Do y'all have any questions for me on that flow? No, okay, do we want to go ahead and get the call to order?
Let's go ahead and call to order.
The time is now 9:04. Let me go on to the agenda. Melanie, can you click the PowerPoint? There you go. Yeah, it's on now. Okay, thank you. Okay, so call to order 9:04 by Commissioner Gowen. And then I just want to make sure we have Hidalgo County, we have City of Harlingen, we have City of Brownsville, we have City of San Benito, City of FAR, LGVDC, FAR District, and then I think Vorba's online, Caracara Trails are here, UTRGV is here, John Ray, Richard's online, Naz is on her way, and we'll see if the newly appointed Robert and his alternate show up. But it looks like we do have a quorum. So we'll go ahead and track that. Do we have any public comment? That's just standard item on our agenda. All right, seeing no public comment. We'll begin. If we could have precinct number 2 come up to give your presentation on Cesar Chavez Road, section 1. We'll be presenting. Oh, they're caught in traffic? Precinct 3. Can you fast forward us, Melanie, please, to the item 4C, guys, Los Ebanos Road. 4C is what we're going to be evaluating, and make sure you find the right scoring form that's on the very top of your paper. So Los Ebanos Road, 4C. All right, thank you. And then that's the pointer and the clicker, okay?
Pointer and clicker.
This is to point if you need to point, and then this is to change slides, left and right.
Oh, I control that, huh?
Yeah, if you want it for your flow. We can move stuff.
Which is.
Does that help?
Sorry, folks, not real up.
Trying to go to your slide.
We're gonna stick to that first slide anyway. Maybe you can help.
Sure, okay. There you are.
Jorge Arcata, Chief of Staff for Precinct 3, representing this Los Ebanos Road project. We're in partnership with the City of Mission on this road project. Wanted to focus, let's get to that first slide to give you a little idea of why this project is so important to the City of Mission. The funding we seek today will augment this project, which I think moves past desirable to the category of vital. And I'll tell you why. You can see this alignment of Los Ebanos Road, paralleled by Conway on the east and Inspiration on the west. Both of these major thoroughfares for the City of Mission, especially Conway's their main street, have very, very busy intersections at the expressway. Los Ebanos represents the one good opportunity for all of the west of Mission to create a very friendly pedestrian bicycle thoroughfare that crosses the expressway. That's the whole thrust of the request this morning. Those two intersections that I mentioned, Conway and Inspiration, those intersections, especially the Inspiration intersection, kind of like the intersection from Hell, has Business 83, Inspiration, and the Expressway all wrapped up into the same intersection. Very, very pedestrian, non-motorized traffic, unfriendly. And similarly for Conway, both have rail spurs. So Los Ebanos in the project here represents a very good opportunity for the city of Mission to create the kind of thoroughfare and connection and crossing of the expressway that every city would really like. We'll move very quickly through the project readiness. This project is still fairly young, so we have not moved very quickly on a lot of these planning issues. We can fast forward through this because it's really self-explanatory. Please stop me if you have any questions. You can see our timetable for AFA and environmental documentation addressing that. We can keep going. Yes, ma'am. Right here, you can see the crash analysis. Most of this, the numbers are fairly thin because most of the project is an alignment that does not exist. Only the northern portion of the project is a redo. Point out to you that while we have this slide up, that there's an established neighborhood up at the northeast corner that's bounded by the expressway and a major canal. They're kind of trapped a little bit. So access that this roadway is going to provide, especially non-motorized access, becomes very critical. Next slide. I'm glad I'm not the one with the clicker. roadways anticipated there along 1016 alignment, quite critical. Ready for any questions?
Are there any questions?
All right, we have one question.
Yes, this is Agustin Ramirez with the Tex.FAR district. You mentioned, that when you spoke about the project, the right of way, combination, can you repeat that? Cause I know you mentioned right of way. Project.
Yeah, the slide will show that we've identified lots and property owners.
Okay. So what is the current status on it? 0? So 0% as far as actual acquisition?
Correct.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Freezing too, I'm sorry. We're gonna try to go back to 4A. That was again 4C, presentation and evaluation regarding the Los Ebanos Road project proposal. For 4A, it's presentation and evaluation regarding the Cesar Chavez Road Section 1 project. Jump back. Should work as long as they don't switch this by.
Just
Yeah.
go
mhm.
backwards.
Yeah. I'll take it. Did you go to section 1 now? First back, first back. Yeah, as soon as they're done, you let us know and you pick them up. You can go ahead and get started.
Okay. If it's all right with everyone, I'll go ahead and get started. First of all, good morning. My name is Armando Garza, and I'm here representing Hidalgo County Precinct 2. I am the RPIC for all of the TxDOT projects in Precinct 2. I'd like to get started with our first section, but I wanted to also mention that we will have 2 sections of this project that will coincide with one of the largest local government road projects, which is the Cesar Chavez Road Project, which will begin on the south end at Ridge Road. And section 1 is from Ridge Road to Business 83. And section 2 will be from Business 83 to Nolana. In total, the roadway project and this type of funding request will cover 3.5 miles, which is an extremely ambitious project, but we consider it to be a community altering project, not only the road project itself, but if we're able to make these walkable streets, we feel that we will have a major impact, not only on the well-being of the community, but as well as helping it grow through economic development. And we'll also start relieving some of the traffic that we always deal with on Expressway 83 and giving an outlet north on Cesar Chavez. But right now, I want to focus mostly on this funding request. And so first, I'd like to start with the exact location of Section 1. The Cesar Chavez Road Section 1 project is from Ridge Road to Business 83. Project is approximately 9.3 miles in length. The project runs along the dividing line between the cities of San Juan and Alamo for the most part. And then there is a section that is solely within Hidalgo County. The requested funding is to pay for sidewalks, lighting, and pedestrian bicycle signal crossing at intersections. This project is actually quite advanced. We have already submitted 90% PSNE to TxDOT. That was submitted on February 7th. The construction cost estimate currently is 8.671. We have 6.193 million in Category 7 funds. The shortfall of funds is about 2.47. But at this time, we are only requesting $698,113.04. This project is currently scheduled for construction in fiscal year 2027, but we are very aggressive and are hoping that we can accelerate that late into fiscal year 2026. This project is currently 100% environmentally cleared, and we received the categorical exclusion back in February of 2021. Right of way is also currently very advanced. We have an executed right of way AFA. The right of way map is 100% complete. The total number of parcels for this section is 16. We have 100% appraisal, 100% review of those appraisals, and we have 100% of the initial offers already complete. All final offers have been sent. We have 100% title commitments, and we currently have 9 parcels in possession and 7 under negotiation. Moving on to our railroad impacts and utility coordination. 30% of the right-of-way is highlighted in this site map for your benefit. And as you can see, the railroad is highlighted with the brown arrows, which are just north of Business 83. We have no railroad impacts, thankfully. Utility coordination is 100% underway. I want to be clear about underway because we all know how difficult that can be. But all companies have been notified of the project, and all utility adjustments are on schedule to not conflict with the construction letting. Non-motorized crash count rates. In this area, which is highlighted in purple, we currently have only identified 3 in the year 2021, 1 in the year 2022, and 1 in the year 2023. Safety benefits. One of the biggest items that has been impacting the 2 communities that will be affected by not only the road but the sidewalks are the City of Alamo and the City of San Juan. Being some of the smaller cash-strapped communities, they struggle to be able to properly light these roads. We're hoping to address that issue with this project. Also, some signage improvements to help people, be better informed and safer. We're going to be adding right turns at intersections, stop bars, pavement marking, crosswalk visibility enhancements, and intersection improvements. These are all key, as we all know, when we're talking about pedestrian safety, particularly since, as I mentioned, these communities are smaller communities, cash-strapped, and so many times these are some of the details that we always have to seek additional funding for. Proposed infrastructure elements, safe routes for non-drivers with a travel plan. Again, we're going to be adding bicycle and pedestrian crossings, which are currently non-existent, and on-road bicycle facilities as well, which are much needed because in this area we have, although we do have public transportation. It is limited. And so a lot of people use these bicycle lanes and sidewalks, not only to get to and from work, but to get to and from schools and shopping and commercial areas. Resilience. This project does not promote and or enhance resilience and sustainability elements on its own. But we feel that when we are able to fully implement this plan, we will start to be able to identify some of these resilience and sustainability elements. Within a historically disadvantaged tract, I'm sorry that I kind of chuckle at that because I think if anyone is familiar with this area, we know, those of us that are familiar with the area, that this has historically been a disadvantaged part of the county. There are parts that have now been developed. There is some economic development to the north of this area. To the south, there are some new housing subdivisions. But in the past, it had been areas of very low income, areas that had very little infrastructure by means of water, sewer, and drainage. And so all of those are slowly being addressed. But this has definitely been a historically disadvantaged tract. Connectivity. The roadway is located in the MPO transportation plan as well as the TIP, the Transportation Improvement Program, and is funded under CAT 7. And so we have implemented these particular plans that are in the TIP and the transportation plan. Connectivity connects to bike, ped transit facilities and incorporates complete streets. These proposed sidewalks will connect to existing proposed sidewalks on Ridge Road, Sam Houston, and Business 83. And I'm sure I'm not letting the cat out of the bag when I mention that there is currently a plan to develop a hike and bike trail that will also come through this area, coming from the West Codana area all the way through Alamo and into San Juan to connect with the Precinct 2 hike and bike trail. As we mentioned, this area needs connectivity, particularly and specifically as it pertains to, being able to go to the social places like church, shopping. There's a Walmart. And I think something that's near and dear to our hearts, schools. There is a now called Jesse Vela Middle School right at the corner of Business 83 and Cesar Chavez. We have a lot of children that are walking in this area and currently are relegated to grassy spaces in the right of way. As you can imagine, when it's raining or there's poor weather, that makes it increasingly difficult. And so we're hoping to be able to impact that with this sidewalk project. We're very proud to say that we have reached out to many of the jurisdictions that will be impacted by this project, particularly Hidalgo County Precinct 2, the City of San Juan, the City of Alamo, PSJ ISD, and of course TxDOT by way of Business 83. I know I kind of sped through that a little bit, but I'm willing to answer any questions you may have. And if not, we have our team available as well that may be able to answer any technical questions that I cannot answer.
Thank you for the presentation. I have questions on the railroad, more from an ignorance perspective, nothing like, oh, trying to get anything. This board's familiar with, the one time I think we had to send back money was because of a railroad issue, and I know that's why it was added. And I know this one is talking about the 30% railroad on Business 83. That was the utility coordination score the MPO analysis gave. I know, I don't want to say this. You said that it's not going to give an issue with meeting the proposed timeline. I guess I'm trying to figure out what, again, this is more from it, not like, oh, trying to get anybody. What are potential, obstacles you see coming up?
Well, the one thing that I can tell you right now is that we've already had multiple coordination meetings with the railroad. And so we're still trying to identify any potential conflicts, but at the current point where we're at, we have not identified any obstacles with the railroad company. As I mentioned, we've not only coordinated in the traditional ways by phone, email, but we've also done a site visit that was just completed earlier this month. And so in those coordination meetings and in the site visit, we feel very comfortable hearing from them that there will be no conflict at this time.
Any other questions? Yes.
Just a quick question. So this is just for, and this might be a really dumb question. This is section 1 or section 1 and 2 that you covered?
This is section 1 that I covered.
Just section 1?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, correct.
Want to make sure that doesn't bleed into the next one. Cool, thank you.
Yeah, and section 1 is just under 1 mile, and section 2 is a little over 2.5 miles. So if there aren't any additional questions on section 1, I can move on to section 2. Is that good? All right. Cesar Chavez Road, section 2. Again, a very, very ambitious project that will begin at Business 83 on the south end and go north all the way to Nolana. This area has a very unique makeup in that there are several neighborhoods, some businesses, and in some areas still has some farming, not much, but some farming being undertaken. As I mentioned, this project is from Business 83 to Nolana. It is approximately 2.57 miles. A portion of the project runs along the dividing line between the cities of San Juan and Alamo. And then there is a section on the north side where it is entirely within the unincorporated parts of those cities and within precinct 2. The requesting funding is to pay for sidewalks, lighting, pedestrian bicycle signal crossings at intersections. Project readiness. This project, again, is 30% complete. PSNE was submitted on February 28th, just last month. The construction cost estimate of this portion is $20 million. We currently have $18 million worth of CAT 7 funding dedicated. The shortfall there is about $2 million. The request for this project is $1.3 million. And this project is scheduled to go to construction in fiscal year 2027. Project readiness. Much like our last project, it is 100% environmentally cleared, and we received a categorical exclusion approved on February 17th of 2021. Again, as in the previous segment, we have a 100% executed right-of-way AFA and right-of-way map. This section, as it is almost 3 times as long as the first section, has significantly more parcels. This one has 81 parcels. Of those, we have done appraisals and appraisal reviews on 80% of them. We have sent initial offers to 80% of these, and we have sent 76 of 81 final offers. And we have title commitments 100% complete. And we currently have 17 parcels in possession, and we have 52 parcels that are currently in negotiations. Again, moving forward to the railroad impact and utility coordination. Again, we are currently about 30% complete. Reimbursements for railroad agreements were executed July 2nd of last year. And as I mentioned earlier, we have done an on-site diagnostic meeting earlier this month on March 5th. Utility coordination, all companies have been notified of the project. All utility adjustments are on schedule to not conflict with the letting date of construction. Non-motorized crash count. This area had 8 non-motorized crashes in 2021, 1 in 2022, and 5 in 2023. The proposed safety countermeasures that we're proposing today is lighting, signage improvement, right turns at intersections, pavement markings, crosswalk visibility enhancement, intersection improvement, and stop bars. Proposed infrastructure elements, we are proposing safe routes for non-drivers with travel plan. We're going to add bicycle pedestrian crossings and on-road bicycle facilities. This project currently does not promote and or enhance resilience and sustainability elements. But as I mentioned in my discussion of the section 1, we feel that once the project is fully implemented, we will begin to see some of these naturally and organically come up. Again, this is a historically disadvantaged tract. Although again, there has been some economic development along portions of this area. Those are very recent, and there is significant low-income families living in this area. And so we feel that projects like these can only serve to benefit not only the livelihood, but also the well-being of the community that has been disadvantaged for way too long. Again, this project is within the MPO transportation plan as well as the TIP, and is currently funded under category 7. These proposed sidewalks of this segment will connect to existing and proposed sidewalks on Business 83, Duranta Avenue, the Interstate 2, FM 495, and Nolana Loop. There are several churches within the project limits, Iglesia Bautista Sendero, Iglesia Adventista del Séptimo Día, the Rio Grande Valley Apostolic Church, and the Bibleville Conference Grounds. Again, we think it's extremely important to be able to give safe bicycle and pedestrian access to individuals in this area for worship and other necessities like school and shopping. Connectivity to a multi-jurisdictional connection, much like the previous segment. We coordinated, Precinct 2 has coordinated with the City of San Juan, the City of Alamo, PSJISD, and TxDOT. As I mentioned in the beginning, this is a very ambitious project that has been in the works and being planned on for almost 10 years now. I think we've advanced this project a lot. We have accomplished many things that at first did not seem possible for local government to be able to do. But we're proud to say that we've been able to do that with the leadership of Commissioner Cantu, our engineers and partners at LNG Engineering, and the cities of San Juan, Alamo, and the school district of PSJISD. Being from the city of San Juan and being a alumnus of PSJISD, I can tell you this is a project that brings me personal pride. Commissioner Cantu, also being an alumnus of PSJISD, takes these projects very, very seriously. We grew up in this community, and we feel that it's not only our responsibility to be able to provide to this historically disadvantaged area, but it is our privilege to be able to serve our community and bring these amazing new projects that, as I mentioned, are going to be very transformative for this entire area. If you have any questions on segment 2 or segment 1 for that matter, I'll be happy to answer. Yes, sir.
Betty, with the railroad?
Yes, sir.
Someone says a percentage, I always think of this. That must mean, for example, you have a list of 10 items and 3 of them are done. My question is, how'd you get to 30%?
By coordinating with the railroad companies,
But how did you get to 30%? Is it like, is it 10 pending items and 3 are off? So that's 30%? Do you have a list, something like that?
I don't. I can't. But I can definitely get with our consultants, and we can make that.
You see what I'm saying? I'm saying, how did you come up 30%? You know,
Sure.
that's all.
It's a fair question, and I think to answer that question, we can provide the checklist as you mentioned for your benefit.
Yeah, well, that's just a question I would have for anybody.
Sure.
If you've got a
Absolutely.
percentage, why?
I think as Mr. Bocanegra mentioned, the only time that we've had to send money back before has been because of a railroad conflict.
That's kind of my thought of
Sure.
that.
Yeah. But what I can tell you, and I'm not familiar with the specifics of that project, but what I do remember is that coordination didn't begin on that until after funding was awarded. And what I can tell you on this project, coordination has been years in the making.
Yeah, I saw you started many years ago.
Yeah.
I just have, sorry, the quick question. So like I know precinct 2 is very dedicated to safety. Your precinct 2 hike and bike trail that you have already is in Hidalgo County by far what I think one of the best in this county. But that's right. The section 2 is right by where the Pulga is, if I'm correct.
That is
and that's
correct.
already highly congested and the road widening and all this stuff. And I know you said that there's going to be on-system bike facilities. I guess what sort of safety measures are going to be for the bicyclists on the road? If the road is going to be expanded, it's going to be that much more dangerous for people to walk.
First of all, that is a very valid and fair question.
Yeah.
As I mentioned, I live in the area, and so I deal with that on a regular basis. The one thing I can tell you, first of all, is that this area where you're talking about in front of the Pulga and also in front of Walmart, which also gets very congested, is going to be going currently from a 5-lane facility to a 6-lane facility. So the widening in and of itself is going to help with the congestion. As far as safety measures, I would have to defer to our consultants on that. But what I can tell you is that the size of the sidewalks are going to be a little bit larger than the average sidewalk to give the pedestrian a little more space. As far as the on-street bicycle, we're going to be using all of the TxDOT recommended safety measures to address that.
When you say that, do you plan for regular bike lane or buffered bike lane?
If I can have our project engineer answer that.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Babe Adiaz-Amani with the LNG Engineering. Just a couple of clarifications. On the section 1 of the Cesar Chavez, there will be no railroad requirements. Railroad is 0 because that section of the railroad is only going to be on the phase 2. So the 30% was talking about the utilities, not the railroad. So phase one does not have railroad work. That should accelerate the project quite a bit because out of the 16 parcels, 9 is in possession, 7 is in agreements, and the precinct did not want to negotiate with railroads and delay that project. Now, railroad is never easy to work with. We all know that. And negotiations are going on with them on phase two. That's one. And then on the bicycle safety, Federal Highway Administration has recommended that the outside lanes be 14 feet wide instead of 10 or 11 or 12. That 14-foot wide, and if you look at your presentations, you see that according to the federal highway requirements, the wide lane is allowing the bicyclists to use the 2-foot lane on the outside.
But will it be a standard bike lane or a buffered bike lane? What kind of markings are you going to have on the street?
That is going to have to be a city council decision. If they decide to designate it as a bike lane, then they would have to take action, and that decision hasn't been made yet as far as marking it.
Because that's really where the safety lives, is
Sure.
what kind of markings or protections you put,
Yes.
because otherwise it's just paint on the street.
Sure. 2 foot may not be wide enough, but they could make that decision to designate it as a bike lane. And if it is designated by the city council, then you will have signage that says bicycle lanes and you'll have the markings.
I have a quick question. So I grew up about a block away from the Pulga. I would bike all the time. That's where I started biking. I was right along Cesar Chavez. I almost died a million times on that road. And the only reason I didn't was because it was in such poor condition. And so people weren't driving that fast. I was driving on the Caliche broken path off the side of it. If you make that, I'm not gonna lie, this project went down in my head when you said that, because if now you're telling them they got 14 feet and they're driving as fast as they can, and it's a painted delineation, I'm dead. And for me, I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little worried. And this federal highway designation, I get that you guys need funding for the road, and they're gonna dictate their engineering standard. But from a bicyclist perspective, and knowing the people that drive the Purga, as long as I live there, they're gonna cut me off. In fact, they would have done it more often if there wasn't a 6-inch drop off from the street onto the little area that I was biking. And again, I was 13, 14, did that till I was 17. And so I'm a little concerned with this, federal highway says this is a standard. I don't give a damn what the federal highway says. I bike there all the time. We need to ensure, especially on that roadway. Because like you said, that's Jesse Bella was Alamo Middle School when I went there. I didn't know when that changed. But yeah, I'm a little concerned. It's like almost a significant priority if we give this funds and we say, oh, this is a bike lane project. I'm like, ugh, not for the Purga drivers. It's not.
Well, and I share that concern. The council must designate it a bike path or a bike route with signage. But he's right. If you don't add at least a buffered bike lane, but ideally some kind of protected, the armadillos or something of that sort. The road drivers are going to run all over it, use it for right turns, parking, and so forth.
Yes, but please keep in mind, federal money comes with federal rules and TxDOT rules. The 14-foot wide, for as much as I agree with you that doesn't seem like as safe as providing a bicycle lane outside behind the curb to have maybe go by more right away. You may have to take out homes and what have you because of the extra right away acquisition, so it gets complicated. But keep in mind, federal money requires federal rules and TxDOT rules, and the 14-foot outside meets federal requirements. We may disagree with it, but it comes with the money and the rules.
Whenever I hear that, I understand that 1,000%, but I also have to question if the federal side is where this money needs to come from. And if it does, we'll start having, but that's a different conversation.
No, I understand. But please remember, designers have no choice but to follow the federal guidelines.
Understood.
Yes.
Any other questions? Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Next presentation.
Okay, now we have item 4D, presentation and evaluation regarding Mile 1 East, the project proposal with Hidalgo County Precinct 1. If you wanted, I just kind of wanted to clarify if you're having, is everybody good with their scoring? Is there any questions from the members in regards to that? Okay, and just all the numbers, the points, they're a range. You don't have to put the full amount. I mean, you can, obviously, it's your choice. Just wanted to let you know it's a range. It's not A or B. It's not 5 or 0. It's a range. Just FYI.
Okay, okay. Good morning. Good morning, Committee. Thank you for having us. I'm David Suarez, Chief of Staff for Precinct 1 de Fuentes, and one of my assistants, Dave Balderrama. We're here to present several of these proposals that we have. The first one is Mile 1 East, and it's from Business 83 to Mile 8 North. The TESA funding requested is $772,000. This construction project is a part of the overall Mile 1 East roadway reconstruction. The project would entail construction 6 feet sidewalks, curb ramps, crosswalk pavement markings, and the pedestrian push buttons and at signalized intersections. The project is located within Hidalgo County and City of Mercedes. The project is from Business 83 to Mile 8 North for a length of 1.5 miles. There are no existing pedestrian facilities. This project will provide a sidewalk throughout. The funding request is to pay for sidewalks, curb ramps, crosswalk pavement markings, and pedestrian push buttons at signalized intersections. Project readiness. The P's and E's are 60% complete. Construction cost is estimated at $9.5 million. Available funds are $6 million. Our shortfall is $3.5 million. We are requesting $772,000. This is scheduled for construction fiscal year 2027. Here's a typical section. You see the 6 feet sidewalks are proposed on both sides of the roadway. Okay. Okay. Okay, this is project readiness. Mile 1 East is environmentally cleared. Categorical exclusion received September 2015. Reevaluation approved August 2022. Project readiness. The right-of-way AFA has been executed. The right-of-way map is complete. The total parcels is 30 feet simple, 16 easements. Parcel appraisals are 50% complete. The review appraisals are at 50 as well. Initial offers have been sent out and it's at 50% complete. Title commitments 28 and parcels in negotiation 20. Railroad. Preliminary engineering agreement with Union Pacific has been executed. The coordination is at 60% completion. Utility coordination, the coordination was compensable and permitted utilities are at 60% as well. Safety benefits. The non-motorized crashes from 2021 through 2023 are 4. Safety benefits. Proposed safety countermeasures will have signage improvements, pavement marking improvements, crosswalk visibility enhancements, and pedestrian push buttons. Separating pedestrians from motorized traffic, safe routes for non-drivers travel plan, pedestrian crossing, traffic calming. This project does not promote or enhance resilience and sustainability elements. Equity, yes, the project is within a historical disadvantaged tract. Connectivity, this project is consistent with countywide plans to incorporate pedestrian and/or bicycle facilities on roadway reconstruction projects. Mile 1 East will be the first corridor in a developing area to include pedestrian facilities. Connectivity connects to public buildings, schools, and parks. There are 3 schools within half-mile radius of the project. Mercedes Academic Academy, Sergeant Manuel Chacon Middle School, Ruben Hinojosa Elementary School. This project provides access to industrial facilities of the city of Mercedes. The proposed sidewalks will provide connectivity across the city of Mercedes and Hidalgo County jurisdictions. And that's the end of that presentation. Any questions?
Morning.
Morning.
I just say one thing. I love the north and south routes. That's all, especially in August. Hopefully there's trees in some of those areas, you know, so you get shade either in the morning or in the evening, but I love the north and south.
Thank you.
That's my comment.
Can you elaborate a little more on the railroad, the partnership you guys have with them?
We just had also a dance meeting, but I'm gonna defer to our engineer consultant.
Hello, my name is Jacinto Garza with LNG Engineering. The railroad question you have on that is, the reason that we put 60% on that project is because there is no storm drain that's gonna go underneath the railroad. The coordination is there is to replank. There are 2 lanes right now. There will be 2 lanes with shoulders, and there will be mast arms. This is not a project where we are going in and having to tunnel under them, et cetera, as in other cases. And that's why it's at that coordination level.
Any other questions? Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Oh, yeah, it's a yes.
We have a scheduled break.
Okay.
So we have a scheduled break. I think we're doing great on time. It is 9:55. Our break was gonna be from 10:15 to 10:30, but we'll go ahead and take that break from 9:55 to what, 10:05, 10:10? Johnny? 15 minutes already. I don't wanna do 20 minutes. We'll take a 15-minute break, you guys. We'll pick up your scores.
Okay, welcome back, everybody. Are we good to go, Eva?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
Say a little man. Okay, this is Mile 10 North, Mile 6 West to FM 1015. The TESA funding being requested is $2,200,000. This is a construction project as part of the overall Mile 10 North roadway reconstruction. The project would entail constructing a 6-foot sidewalk and a 12-foot shared use path, curb ramps, crosswalk pavement markings, pedestrian push buttons at signalized intersections and boulevards. The Mile 10 North project is located in Hidalgo County, Precinct 1 in the city of Weslaco. This is a joint project between the city of Weslaco and Hidalgo County Precinct 1, where the local cost is shared by both entities at 50-50. The project is from Mile 6 West, which is Westgate Drive, to FM 1015, a length of 3 miles. There are no existing pedestrian or bicycle facilities. This project will provide a sidewalk and shared use path throughout. The funding request is to pay for the sidewalks, a shared use path, curb ramps, crosswalk pavement markings, pedestrian push buttons at signalized intersections and boulevards. Project readiness. The PSNEs are 60% completed. Construction cost estimate is $20 million. Available funds are $17,200,000. We have a shortfall of $2.9 million. The requested funds is $2.2 million. Schedule for construction is fiscal year 2028. Project readiness. As you see there in the typical section, there's a 6-foot sidewalk and a 12-foot shared use path are proposed with a 5-foot buffer. Same thing, a sidewalk and a shared use path are proposed. Project readiness. Mile 10 is environmentally cleared. Categorical exclusion was received April 2024. The right-of-way map is 100% completed. We have 0% acquisition. We'll begin once Texas releases us, and we're hoping and praying here in the next 90 days we'll get released to buy the right away. Railroad impacts. There will be no impact. There's no railroad crossing here. Utility coordination with compensable and permitted utilities are at 60% complete. Safety benefits, non-motorized crash. We had non-motorized crashes from 2021 through 2023 at 3. Safety benefits, proposed safety countermeasures. We will have signage improvements, pavement marking improvements, crosswalk visibility enhancements, pedestrian push buttons, and the boulevard. And there's a picture on the right. That's the boulevard at our hike and bike trail here from Holland Block all the way to San Juan under construction. That's the Donna area, well, the Westgate area. Safety benefits, we're separating bicycles and pedestrians from motorized traffic. Safe routes for non-drivers travel plan, bicycle pedestrian crossing, traffic calming, site path with less than 10 crossings, driveways per mile. The project does not promote any resiliency and sustainability elements. Equity. Yes, the project falls within a historical disadvantaged tract. Connectivity. This project is consistent with countywide plans to incorporate pedestrian and/or bicycle facilities on roadway reconstruction projects. The proposed shared use path is phase 2 of the original hike and bike project in Hidalgo County that will ultimately connect the city of Weslaco with the city of Ed Couch. The proposed bike pedestrian facility will connect to the recently completed Mile 6 West, which is Westgate, from Mile 9 North to Mile 11 North. We're just will connect to Mile 10. Connect to the proposed Weslaco hike and bike trail. There are several schools and parks in the vicinity of the project: Silva Elementary, Ibarra Elementary, Career and Technology Education Complex, and Judge Gilbert Garza Park. The proposed sidewalks will provide connectivity across city of Wesco and Hidalgo County jurisdictions. Any questions?
Hey, Dave, this is east and west. Is there any plans, like especially where you have to push buttons to put, some little, those little tetitos like they do in Bicentennial and McAllen? I mean, it would sure be great. Where you stop the bench and it's got some shade covering.
Well, as part of the enhancement, well, we could put it in resiliency, but as part of the resiliency, even though it doesn't, we plan to put some of that, some rest areas and maybe where there's,
Yeah, that's really, really needed and would be really greatly appreciated.
I have just a quick question. So I know that there's also ongoing improvements on 1015, ongoing future improvements going to be on Westgate, which is on the eastern western limits of this project. So just maybe an observation, but I know it might not seem like you have the proposed north and south connectivity to the city of Elsa, but this would also potentially connect to new pedestrian or bicycle facilities on both 1015 and Westgate in the future as well. Because
for sure on the Westgate side and also on 1015, and once they finish the widening construction, that our goal is to find a way to connect that
all together.
and all together up to the north.
Well, just my only other comment would just be similar to earlier. Those are really, huge roadways, safety matters, not just a stripe on the road. But I do like this one specifically that there is some buffer on the side.
And we're not going on the road, as you see, there's a sidewalk to one side and the shared path on the other side with a 5-foot buffer.
Yes.
So that's,
Thank you.
that was taken into consideration, so you won't be on the road.
And David, like in precinct 1, are they gonna add a couple different parking areas, those small parking areas at convenience spots?
Where there's visibility, where it's viable, yes. In the precinct 1, you see, and then we did some heads, we did some parking
Great.
all through the trail. That's the idea.
They have high usage, if you notice.
They do. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Good morning. Next up, we have the Nolana Loop Segment 4 from FM 493 to FM 88. Our TESA funding request is 1.6 million. The Nolana Loop project is a federally funded project which will widen and reconstruct 2.9 miles of roadway between FM 493 and FM 88. Improvements include a 5-foot sidewalk on one side of the roadway and a 12-foot shared use path on the other side for pedestrians to utilize for exercise and as an alternative mode of transportation to and from several residential areas along the corridor. This project connects Mile 6 West, which is under design, with sidewalks, and to FM 88, which has shoulders that can be used as an alternative mode of transportation. In addition, FM 88 connects to the Westco City Park. Location, the Nolana Loop project is from FM 493 to FM 88. The project is approximately 2.9 miles in length. It's located in Hidalgo County and partially in the city of Donna. The funding request is to pay for the 5-foot sidewalk and the 12-foot shared use path as previously mentioned. PS&Es are currently at 10% completion. The construction cost estimate is 22.3 million. The available funds for Section 4C of this project is 4 million. Our shortfall is 18,343 for the overall, and our requested funding is 1.6 million. It's scheduled to let to construction in fiscal year of 2027. As we were mentioning earlier, the typical section here shows the 5-foot sidewalk on the north side, the 12-foot shared use path similarly on the south, and another 5-foot buffer. Nolana Loop Segment 4 is environmentally cleared. It has a FONSI that was received in July of 2020. Reevaluation is currently underway. Right-of-way acquisition is currently at 0%, but property owners have been identified. There are no railroad utility impacts, and all companies have been notified of the project. SUE level B is 100% complete with horizontal location. The overall non-motorized crashes since 2021 to 2023 are a total at 2. The proposed safety countermeasures for this project include lighting, signage improvements, pavement marking improvements, crosswalk visibility enhancement, and pedestrian push button signals. There we go. Okay. The proposed infrastructure elements include separating bicycle and pedestrians from motorized traffic via the 12-foot shared use path with less than 10 crossings per mile, safe routes for non-drivers travel plan, bicycle pedestrian crossings, and traffic calming elements. Resilience, the sustainability resilience element to this one includes the proposal of powered solar lighting across the shared use path. This project does fall within a historically disadvantaged tract. This roadway project is currently listed on the RGV MPO's Metropolitan Transportation Plan and the Transportation Improvement Program. The proposed sidewalks will connect to the existing proposed sidewalks on Mile 6 West and FM 88. And it connects to public buildings, schools, and parks via the Funeraria del Ángel at Highland Park, or Cemetery rather, and Wesco City Park on FM 88. The proposed sidewalks will provide connectivity across the city of Donna and Hidalgo County Precinct 1. The Wesco City Park is also within a half-mile radius of the project. Any questions? All right, moving on. Our next project is Mile 6 West from, oh, sorry. Yeah, nobody, yeah, just making sure. Yeah, sure. Yeah, our next project is Mile 6 West from State Highway 107 to Mile 14.5 North. Our total funding request is $760 million. As part of the overall Mile 6 West roadway reconstruction, this project would entail constructing 5-foot sidewalks, curb ramps, crosswalk pavement markings, and pedestrian push buttons at signalized intersections. The Mile 6 West project is located from State Highway 107 to Mile 14.5 North. It's 2 miles in length total. This project is a continuation of several projects along this corridor, and it's located within Hidalgo County and the city of Elsa. There are no existing pedestrian facilities along this section currently, and it will provide a sidewalk without. The funding request is to pay for the sidewalks, curb ramps, crosswalk pavement markings, and pedestrian push buttons at signalized crossings. PS&Es are currently at 95% completion. Our construction cost estimate is $12.1 million. We currently have $10.8 million available. Our shortfall is $1.4 million approximately. We are requesting $1 million. It's funded for construction in fiscal year 2028, but we are looking to accelerate to fiscal year 2026. The 5-foot sidewalks are proposed on both sides of the roadway, as shown in the typical section. Mile 6 West is environmentally cleared. It received its FONSI in December 2015, and the reevaluation was approved in February of 2023. The right-of-way AFA is executed 100% completion. The right-of-way map is also 100% complete. There's a total of 65 parcels along the project. Appraisals are 100% complete, as is their review. Initial offers have been sent. Final offers have also been sent. We have 100% title commitments. 29 parcels are currently in negotiation, and the other 36 are in negotiation. There are no impacts to any railroad utilities, and there are also currently no compensable utilities. Coordination with the permitted utilities is at 90% completion. From 2021 to 2023, there were no non-motorized crashes on this section. The proposed safety countermeasures include signage improvements, pavement marking improvements, crosswalk visibility enhancements, and pedestrian push button signals. Proposed infrastructure elements are separating the pedestrians from motorized traffic, safe routes for non-drivers travel plan, pedestrian crossing, and traffic calming elements. This project does not promote and/or enhance resilience and sustainability elements. The project does fall within a historically disadvantaged tract. This project is consistent with countywide plans to incorporate pedestrian and or bicyclist facilities on roadway reconstruction projects. The project is one of 3 phases of Mile 6 West corridor improvements incorporating pedestrian elements. The sidewalk improvements will continue south upon the construction of the mile 14.5 to mile 11 north segment currently under design. The construction of the mile 11 north to mile 9 segment has already been completed. Upon completion, all 3 segments of the mile 6 west corridor pedestrian traffic will have continuous connectivity from the city of Elsa to the city of Westlaco. There we go. There are several churches and a learning center within a half-mile radius of the project, as shown on the map. For multi-jurisdictional connections, we have connectivity between the city of Elsa, Hidalgo County jurisdictions, and upon completion, the entire Mile 6 West improvement project will connect to the city of Westlaco. Any questions?
So if I understand correctly, mile 6 is Westgate, correct?
Yes.
And that's already gone through 2 phases of expansion and upgrades. So this would be connecting where it's currently, where the upgrades have stopped to all the way up to 107.
Yes.
Because that's connecting to Elsa. And then you did mention that some of those sidewalk and pedestrian traffic improvements will go south because some of the steps that you're proposing for this section right here don't exist in the southern portion, but you did say there that you would like to upgrade the southern portion to include some of these upgrades as well. I think that was a bullet. I just want to confirm I understood correctly.
Let me verify. Oh,
It was like 2-3 slides ago.
let's see.
That one right there.
Oh.
Go back. Yeah, sidewalk improvements will continue south upon the construction. Or is that the existing section? I guess I want to understand
Yeah,
what
so-
does that mean?
So the existing section is mile 9 to 11. Those have sidewalks
Mhm.
currently as part of their improvements.
Yeah.
14.5 and 11 will include that as well, but because that project's not ready to let to completion,
Okay.
whereas this one on the north side is.
I think just
There's-
like got transfers with the other one, south, the 11 to 14, but to answer your
Yes.
question, there's already sidewalks.
Yes, I've seen them there.
The expressway to all the way to 11. This will be a continuation going all the way to West.
Yeah, but from what I've seen when I drive there, because I used to drive to Edinburgh all the time and I would take mile 6, is that there's sidewalks, but there's no like push buttons or anything else other than just sidewalks on those improvements. There's a really wide shoulder, which is great. But that's why I just wanted to make sure I understood that bullet point. But hopefully that means that you will, because it will connect from Business 83 to Elsa, which I think is great.
Yeah.
Much needed project. So just wanted to make sure I
We will
understood.
have to look at the expressway, but there on the Mount 9, Westgate and Sugarcane, there is.
Push
Push
buttons.
buttons?
Yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
they are. And then Mount 10 all the way to
Okay.
Mount 11.
Any other questions?
Oh, it's green. Okay, thank you. Let's see. So I have a few questions just to sort of make sure I'm understanding this. So there was still a difference between the requested funds. So there was the shortfall and then the requested funds that would address most of the shortfall. And then there was about 347,803.76 left after the requested amount. So I guess I want to know what's the plan for that. That's my first question.
We'll let our consultant answer that one. but-
Okay.
That requested funds of $1 million is just a typographic error. The requested funds is what's shown at the very beginning, which is 760,000.
Okay. And I trust that will take care of the outstanding 34.7.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. I would like to know more about the signals and push buttons. Do these include accessible pedestrian signage, things like audible signaling? And this was in the second project. Both of these, or all these questions are for the second project.
Well, I do believe these are with ADA compliance in mind, so
Yes.
Does the push button speak to you?
Yes.
If you have low sight?
The one on Texas does, so I hope if that's the case. If you already install them in Wesco, then they would.
All of these projects, curb and gutter, because of they're under the federal Category 7 funds, as you come to the intersections, this push buttons will be there, the sidewalk, because these are all requirements of the feds and TxDOT to make sure that the crossbars are there, the push buttons are there, the safety lighting is there. So intersection is going to meet TxDOT state
To
requirements.
include audible, it'll tell you,
Yes.
you've got 10 seconds or 15 seconds. It does have audible.
Okay, thank you. And then one more question, if that's okay. Just because I'm not as familiar with the area, and I guess one can see how it is important to connect things like churches and schools and learning centers and things like that. But I guess I want to hear more from you all who have a bit more knowledge of the community. Who's the typical person who would use this, and about how many folks do you see find the need to go from each of these places that are connected by the proposed project?
I was actually going to make a comment on that. I'm really glad you brought it up. I like these projects. I think these are excellent projects. But to really emphasize your point, and it's not you guys, it's actually been a lot of these projects. They're not in some sort of plan. We work on plans all the time here, all the time. And a lot of these projects is, oh, it's on the tip, or it's on it. I'm like, no, it's part of the active transportation plan. That's what we're kind of looking for, something a little more attached to this network of people. And these projects are good. They're regionally significant. Again, this isn't to say they're bad projects, but I can think of right here in this neighborhood behind us, there's a school, there's a huge economic development. There's all these, so, when you look at these projects in terms of a neighborhood and a lot of people using them, these locations, I don't want to say they're disconnected. They're not. They're regionally connecting, but they're not scoring super high on a lot of these, like public buildings, schools, and parks, at least from my scoring. And I know it connects to a network that does do that eventually, but I personally would appreciate to see that plan. I know when we were getting that packet we got online with all the materials, I wasn't seeing that explicitly. And if I'm looking for that, then that's giving me a hard time to give it a higher score in terms of connectivity.
That's a good point for future presentations. Maybe I like the map with the oval where they're showing the highlighted area, but where does that oval fit in with your overall network would be useful. I think that's what they're talking about.
Yeah, and some of the principal, it does connect, this one in particular does connect at Mile 10. And the Mile 10 node that we just presented, it connects, right there in the middle of 9 and 11. And that does connect all the way to the 3 schools I mentioned and the park. So it does have connectivity, I guess, but it's not depicted in what we're presenting. If we put it together, you'll see the connection.
I like all of your plans as well. Do any of them include counters to be able to prove usage once you build it? No.
Let me refer to the engineer that wants to design counters.
Question?
Do any of them include counters so that you can prove usage after you build them?
No, we do not have, right now, as you know, it's very difficult for anybody to use the sidewalks. The intent is you have Mile 6 and it's gonna go all the way from the expressway, all the way to Elsa. And, the lady asked a minute ago about funding. There is enough money to build part of the road. As you all know, we're all short on funding. And so this project is scheduled for 2028. And so therefore, the sidewalks, the county will have to pay for any overruns. And the intent is to provide sidewalks for everybody. I've seen roads built. We work with TxDOT. If they allow us to build sidewalks with Category 7 money, there's not enough money out there. You all have TASA. We could build sidewalks for the community, from one community to the other. And as you know, you build the sidewalk, the children, people are going to use it. But right now, if you put a counter, nobody's going to want to use it. It's so unsafe.
No, I understand that. I mean, as you improve it, when you improve it, do you have, and it's not a criticism
We could.
by any means.
I mean, the county, we could do that. Right now is that, I mean, obviously, the intent right now is the shortfall is gonna have to be paid by the county. But if you have these TASFA funds, this project, certainly qualifies. You got the environmental clearance. There's a lot of money in there, but they're short. And, there's TASFA funds.
I get it. I'm well aware of shortages, as Joel will tell you. I'm just encouraging you as you move forward to consider putting
back.
counters, because we've found them to be very useful in Brownsville to be able to prove that the funding was used well. So.
We've got, I want to add a comment. David and I were talking about running, and I got to mention the organization I represent, the West Local Running Club. And for instance, if you want to look for evidence of the increased usage of any arena, it's publicized West Local Running Club. How do you see it? Because we continue to publish where we're running, and all of a sudden people go to that spot because of all the advertisement. We're almost 1,000 members now. So now the usage, I'm almost to the point that I tell people it's very silly. I used to run before they were chosen all over West Local. Now I like to run the precinct one that's been made for the community. Why? Because it's safer. You only have to cross the few streets. And then, but the disadvantage is I run into so many people I know that I gotta stop and talk to them. But it has exploded. And the same thing will happen on mile 10 and mile 11, indirectly by these other organizations. We're hooked at the hip by doing some other items with the diabetes organizations. And one of the key things that we're going to continue to advertise big time is walking. Walking where? Join the club and go to our walking events. And then you're going to see that activity for said area. You see mile 11 too up there, the other fireman's park that we have is exploded.
Judge Gilbert.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
the park.
yeah. Judge Gilbert, that's one place where you see it.
Thank you. Any other questions? Thank you.
Thank you.
You still have another one, right?
Yes.
Okay.
This age, David, are we on,
The second mile 6, 14 to 11. Yeah. Yes. Right. Continuing from the previous project, this is mile 6 west from mile 14 and a half north to mile 11 north. For this one, our TASA funding request is $1,043,000. This project is a third of 3 mile 6 west corridor improvement projects. It will reconstruct mile 6 west between 14 and a half and mile 11 north. Currently, there are no facilities for non-vehicular traffic within the project limits. Our proposed improvements include 5-foot sidewalks on both sides of the roadway with pedestrian crossings at intersection stop controlled roadways. The design of the State Highway 107 to mile 14 and a half north segment currently under design at 95% completion. The construction of mile 11 to 9 is complete. And upon the completion of all 3 segments, mile 6 west will have continuous connectivity from the city of Elsa to city of Weslaco. Mile 6 west project is from mile 14 and a half to mile 11 north. It is 3.2 miles in length. It's a continuation of several projects along the corridor, and it is located within the city of Weslaco and Hidalgo County. Funding request is to pay for the sidewalks on both sides of the roadway and pedestrian crossings at intersections and at intersecting stop controlled roadways. PS&Es are currently at 60% completion. Our estimated construction cost is $21.6 million. We currently have $20.4 million available. Our shortfall is $1.2 million, and we are requesting $1,043,000. It's scheduled for construction in fiscal year 2028. For the typical section, 5-foot sidewalks are proposed on both sides of the roadway. It is environmentally cleared. The FONSI was received in December 2015, and it was reevaluated and approved in February of 2023. Our right-of-way AFA is executed at 100% completion. Our right-of-way map is also 100% complete. There are a total of 87 parcels that are related to the project. 34% of them have been appraised. We've also completed 34% of the review appraisals. We've sent 54% of our initial offers. 47 final offers have been sent. We have 36% completion on title commitments. 1 parcel is currently in possession and 27 are in negotiations. There are no railroad utility impacts, and our coordination with compensable and permitted utilities is 60% complete. From the year 2021 to the year 2023, there are a total of 2 non-motorized crashes in the area. Our proposed safety countermeasures include signage improvements, pavement marking improvements, crosswalk visibility enhancements, and pedestrian push buttons at signals. We are proposing to have separating pedestrians from motorized traffic, safe routes for the non-drivers travel plan, pedestrian crossing, and traffic calming elements. This project does not promote and/or enhance resilience and sustainability elements. The project does fall within a historically disadvantaged tract. And as far as regional and active transportation plans, the roadway project is listed on the RGV MPO's MTP and the TIP. The construction of this section of Mile 6 corridor will connect with the completed section from Mile 11 north to Mile 9 north. The sidewalk improvements will continue north from the end of the section of State Highway 107, currently under design at 90% completion. Upon completion of all 3 sections of the Mile 6 West corridor, pedestrian traffic will have continuous connectivity from the city of Elsa to the city of Weslaco. The Mile 6 West project will also connect to the proposed Mile 10 North and the Nolana Loop projects currently under design. The proposed sidewalks will connect to Abundant Life Ministries. The multi-jurisdictional connections include the city of Elsa and the city of Weslaco, as well as Hidalgo County jurisdiction. Any questions? Yes.
That's the one that connects to 911. That's why it
Yeah.
sits out.
Any questions?
Hi. Let's see. So I want to know 2 things. So I guess, could you please summarize, and you touched on them across the 3 different presentations, but could you please summarize how these 3 projects are connected, either physically or socially, in terms of the needs of the community?
Well, the projects have been presented so far, of course, I'll start with Mile 9 from the expressway over to Mile 11. It was already completed, and he just presented two more phases on the Mile 6 over to 107. We presented the Mile 10 a little while ago. I presented Mile 10. That connects from expressway and West Getaway to 107. That's a 6 mile, more or less, right? 6 miles, and then you have from Mile 10 from Westgate that connects to that all the way to 1015, which we present another 3 mile. So that's 9 miles, and then you have we're going to present here the Precinct 1 City of Westfield Hike and Bike Trail. That's going to connect. That goes from south to north. It'll connect to the Just Gilbert Gas Park there at City of Westfield on Mile 11, which has its own trail inside. So you're talking about 10 to 11 miles of connectivity. And it encompasses 3 schools and a city park and a bunch of neighborhoods.
Thank you. And then I had a question about the parcels of land. So across these proposals, and I guess in the next one, how will you make sure that you safeguard the character and the interests of the community while moving forward with this project to provide this facility for the community? Since we're talking about sort of purchasing land, where is that coming from, and how are you going to make sure that you're safeguarding the interests of the community?
Yes, absolutely. Sure.
Your question is on the Mile 6 project, the issues associated with the acquisition of the right of way. Okay. There's been extensive public involvement on this Mile 6 project going from the expressway all the way to 107. It's been cut up in several sections. It has been vetted, presented to the public meetings, public hearings have been held, and the acquisition is ongoing on acquiring those properties to build the highway. What we have is what was presented to the public was that sidewalks were going to be built for the entire length of the project. And so appraisals are being, after receiving environmental clearance from TXDOT and receiving, completing a right-of-way map, receiving their authority to go ahead and buy the property with federal funds at an 80-20 shared, the county is in the process of buying all that land. These projects are in that process right now, and what we're proposing is, because we're putting sidewalks, when I say we, the county, when we're putting sidewalks all the way across, we are short on funds, and we're before this board for y'all to consider, so that these sidewalks can be built from one community to the other. So the right-of-way has followed the process and gone through the public involvement, and all the community has been notified of it, and it is ongoing, being bought right now. And the numbers as far as how many on each one were identified in the slides. Does that answer your question?
I think what he means too is that because there's approval from the public through these involvement, they are giving it a thumbs up, they understand. And as far as what's being acquired, we're not trying to necessarily, we won't be causing any impacts as far as terms of like removing any beautification or any kind of overall aesthetic to the place. It's just, we're adding accessibility. It's just a minor bit to need, in other words, we need room to construct.
The project has received an environmental clearance and a go-ahead from the federal government through TXDOT to start acquiring the property, and that is ongoing. And it's been vetted through the public involvement process, the NEPA process.
Questions? Thank you. You've got one more, right?
Yes.
We get points for that? We left the last one.
No, but you remembered a green tie, so you.
Yeah, okay, thank you, thank you. Okay, the last one, Hidalgo County Precinct 1 and the City of Wesco Hike and Bike Trail Phase 1. This connects to Judge Gilbert Garza Park and Mile 10, which we presented earlier. The TESA funding request is 1.2 million. The project would entail constructing a new location, 10-foot wide asphalt pavement hike and bike trail with safety and decorative barrier fencing, lighting, and landscape amenities, benches, water fountains, etc., similar to what we have at the hike and bike trail from Harlem Block all the way to San Juan right now. The Wesco Hike and Bike Trail project is phase 1 of the original plan for pedestrian and bicycle facilities. The project is from Judge Gilbert Garza Park to Mile 10 North, a length of 1 mile. The project is located in Hidalgo County and the City of Wesco. Or this is a joint project with the City of Wesco and Precinct 1. Low cost going 50-50. To reduce costs, the alignment was revised from the 2023 tax application. If you all recall, in 2023, we requested, but we changed the path a little bit to reduce costs. The cost estimate now is, construction cost estimate is 1.8 million. Available funding is 1,179,000 carbon reduction program fiscal year 2028. TESA funding request is 1.2 million to pay for hike and bike trails with safety and decorative fencing, lighting, and landscape amenities to encourage environmental and surveying costs. Project readiness. The plans are about 45%, but it asks you 30 to 60, so our consultants put 30 to 60. So we're about 45% complete. The project will be environmentally cleared within 12 months, and we anticipate a categorical exclusion. There's no right-of-way acquisition will be required as a function of this project, so we're 100% on right-of-way. The project readiness, there is no impacts on railroad, utility coordination. After thorough review, no utility adjustments are anticipated. The safety benefits, normalized crash count. You see, there's been 2 from 2021 to 2023. The safety benefits will have solar lighting, safety fencing, maintaining safe clear zone, to any hazards, design in accordance with ADA requirements. Again, there's a picture of a beautiful trail with a solar lighting. Safety benefits, we're separating bicycle and pedestrians from motorized traffic. Again, the bollards, the picture on here. Traffic calming, bollards, traffic barriers to prevent motorized vehicles from entering trail. Landscape amenities, water fountains, benches, trash cans, etc. Resilience, there will be solar power lighting and some landscaping and maybe some bench areas. Equity, yes, the project falls within a historical disadvantaged tract. Connectivity, future phases of the Hidalgo County Precinct 1 and City of Western Hike and Bike Trail intend to expand connectivity among Mile 10 North west to Mile 6 west and east to FM 1015 and northeast towards the shared use path proposed for the federally funded FM 1015 project between Mile 10 North and State Highway 107 in the city of Ed Couch. Connectivity, the project connects to existing paved trails facilities within Judge Gabriel Garza Park, the city park there on the north, which has a real nice trail inside, paved and non-paved, the little wooded area. The project will tie into the sidewalk and shared use path proposed under the Mile 10 North project and beyond to Mile 6 West and FM 1015. And I'll explain here the connectivity. We've been talking, you all been asking about connectivity, and I misspoke a little while ago. The Mile 6 West from Expressway Road to 107, it's more like 9 miles. And then you have the Mile 10 east to west from Mile 6 all the way to 1015. That's under 3 miles. And here we're proposing a mile going north from Mile 10 all the way to the city park, which you had another mile inside the city park. So you're looking at about 11 to 12 miles. 9, 12, oh, check that, 14 miles of trail. Connectivity. The project connects to Judge Gabriel Garza Park. There are several schools in the proximity to the project, including Sierra Elementary, Ibarra Elementary, Career and Technology Education Complex. The proposed trail will provide connectivity across City of Westaco and Hidalgo County jurisdictions, as I mentioned before, so it'll be hopefully the end to 14 miles of trail. Any questions?
The red dotted line on the map, what does that signify? Sorry, I don't know if you mentioned that. I might have missed it. Sorry.
That's the trail. That's Mile 10 all the way to the Gilbert Garza Park.
Specifically, the dotted line was.
Oh, the dotted, I'm sorry.
Was the previously.
The previous, I'm sorry. I'm going with the solid line. My bad.
Okay, thank you.
That was the previous, so and it saved about $1 million, $1.5 million. So yes, so we're coming to us for less money. So hopefully you'll be generous and award us that.
What's the year you guys are looking at starting construction on this one?
It was 28.
2028, because we're doing Mile 10. But what will be the year? 27, I believe. 2027.
The Mile 10 project, which is from Mile 6 to 1015, is scheduled for 2028. The intent is to connect them. And therefore you will have an urban facility from Mile 6 to 1015. And then this will be connected to the park and all of that will be connected.
It'll be 2020 because we're relying on 1.7 in its fiscal year 2028 on the property dimensions that funding.
Also,
we get this, yes.
Yeah, because the only one on this one that's a little tough is it's not quite PSNE and taking. I was like, I don't know what the scale is or what the turnaround time is. I mean, just in case.
Well, but we'll get going to PSNE. Well, if we get the award and move on, we still got time, but they don't do anything for free, so our consultants are, that goes. Any other questions?
Yeah, David, a question, like, for example, the solid red line and the dotted red line. Who makes that decision? Oh, instead of that one, let's do this one.
Well, there was, and I'll let you.
This question is for everybody.
Yeah, well, because right away and land, etc. So it was easier and less resistance and more cost effective to go through here. Because there's going to be an owner that's donating the easement, and then we don't have to buy right away. But
the question was, who made that decision?
Okay.
Well, the precinct did after consulting with the consultants, the commissioner and the team made that decision. But go ahead.
Let me just add to what David Suarez just said. The intent was to connect the park to the shared path lane, and that route was along a ditch. The problem is that as you all have experienced, that when right-of-way is a problem, such in the case of Cameron County, I believe, they had to they weren't able to proceed because you cannot spend this money for condemnation. This kind of money, you can't use it for condemnation, so you will not be able to build it. So after visiting with the mayor and the commissioner, they elected this route, which would not have right-of-way problems. And that decision was based on, otherwise, the other one, you don't have the right to spend category 9 for condemnation. You can't build it. And it was decided to go on this route, which is now constructible and no right-of-way is needed.
I'll give you an idea then, just in part of there, why not put on your plate after this, connect down to where that ends, sneak in over behind I think it's that bridge that was closed, Dolores Huerta.
No, where, yeah, it's on the 4.5.
Yeah, well, you
On
know,
bridge. The temporary close, it's being fixed right now as we
Not-
speak,
not-
and we're trying to open it up.
this to me is the future extension. Since you've gone that far, go down that way, go over to Lowe's, connect over the Lowe's overpass, and you got a straight shot to the city park.
That
The
sounds,
future.
that sounds like a great plan.
You go behind the
At this point, they're trying, that'll be a great phase 2 or phase 3.
Yeah. I mean, this gets you there. The side I was talking about. No.
Y tenemos todos los Tesla funding the next 2 or 3 cycles, and we'll get it there.
All right.
I'll joke around.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, everyone. I think everyone should already turn in their forms. If you don't mind leaving us your folders so we can use them for the last meeting. We didn't have to do this last time, but we like the color coordinated photos and we already wrote your agency on them. So if you don't mind, we'll keep the folder, you keep the papers. We've already done the presentation and evaluations for 5 planning projects today. Thank you everyone for coming early and helping us get through a smooth meeting. We've gone through 9 construction projects, so we have I think 7 more construction projects left to evaluate. And at the next meeting, which is Thursday, March 27th in this room at 9 a.m. again, we will have 2 breaks, and then we will show all of the average scores, the ranks, and kind of which projects we can make a potential action for recommendation. Okay. Are there any questions? Did everything go smooth? All right, great. Then can we get a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
From Javi.
Need a
I
second?
second. Oh, okay.
Thank you. Second from
Anyone
Dylan.
object to leaving now?
All right, it's 10:58. Great timing, guys. Thank you. The meeting adjourns.